Welcome to the continuation of my video series on the use of QGIS. In this video, I will be taking us through how to use the print composer in QGIS to finalize your map. So we will go back to where we stopped in the last video. That's part 3 of this video series. And we'll take off from there. So let's open QGIS back to where we stopped in the last video. Okay, so we are back here now. This is our QGIS window, and we have the layers here. As we can see, only one is selected, and that's what we have here, Nigeria, map of Nigeria divided into states, well labeled. Now, if I want to include the roads, I can do this, and that includes the road network. But then this looks so clumsy and untidy, so I will remove road from this map so that my map can be very neat. Okay, good. So I have this map now. So how do we finalize the map? Assuming you have put all the features you want to add to your map, how do you get it to a state where, yes, you can now print it out or copy it into MS Word documents and so on and so forth? So when you get to this stage and you are happy with what you have checked everything and you like everything the way it is, fine. You are now ready to move to the final stage. And you will come here to the menu bar and click on Projects. And you will come down here to New Print Layout or Control P. That's what you will select, New Print Layout. So let's click on that. So it opens this box for us and it wants us to give the map a name, enter a unique print layout title. So let's call this one Nigeria 1. You can name it, you can even name it as map 1 or whatever, but I always recommend that you give it a name that will be easy to remember, and that will relate to the feature you are displaying. So I call this one Nigeria 1. So I will say, okay. So it opens this window for us. You wonder, our map has disappeared. No, the map is still there, but a new window has been opened, and this is where we will put the finishing touches to our map. So here we will add all the necessary elements. Your map itself, you add it here, and in addition to your map, there are other essential map elements that must feature here. The map must have a title, so you will add title. It must have a scale, we will add scale to this. It must have a north arrow line, we will add north arrow line to this. Legend also is important, especially where you have multiple features. Legend is very, very important. So we will add legend. I'll show you how to do that. And then the coordinates, the graticals and grids. We'll see how we add all this. So let's start by adding our map. That map we just produced, we want to have it here. As you can see now, this is what the layout of the map, the final map, will look like. So if you want to make any change, you see the menu bar here. Look at it. So you can come here, you can do printer page setup, so you can specify the paper size, the orientation, and so on here. And, quite a number of other things here that you can do. But what we want to work with is this add items. So the first thing we want to add is our map. That map that we produce, we want to add it to this canvas now, this plain page. So we'll click on add map. And of course, there are shortcuts. All these are buttons. For example, to add map is this shortcut here. So you can either select it here or you come here and select it. Add map is the same thing. So let's do add map, okay? So our mouse pointer has turned to a plus sign. So what we'll do is we'll hold down the mouse and drag to form a rectangle. And that rectangle is to demarcate the place within which we want our map to be. So don't start at the extreme edge here, because as you soon see the reason anyway. Start somewhere around here, hold down your mouse and drag. You see, as you are dragging, you are forming a rectangle. Don't do it all the way to the edge. No, leave space all around. So, and then release your mouse. You can see what happens now. The map has been added to our page. So here is the map that we just produced. But then looking at this map, I still see a lot of blank spaces here. The map can still be bigger than this. How can the map be bigger? We'll look to the right, lower right side here. You will see item properties. So here you have scale, and it is the scale here we will change. As we change the scale, the size of the map will also change. Now, if we want the map to be bigger, then this value here will be smaller. If this value is high, our map will reduce. Let me just show you that quickly. This value here is 6.8 million. That's 6,884,455. Now, see what happens if I remove the last digit. I just delete the last digit and I enter. Look at it. I can't see my map clearly again. It has blown up. So the value has reduced, and that has enlarged my map, considerably. So let me return the 5 back to there and enter again, and I have my map back. So we want to make our map to be big and occupy this space without jumping out of this line. So how do we do that? Here I have 68 here. If it is smaller, don't forget the map will be bigger. So let's change this 6, the first digit here, to 5. If we reduce it, we change it to 5. Let's see what effect that will have. 5, okay, instead of 6, and I press enter. You see now my map has increased a little more, but it has not reached where I want it to reach. So let me change this to 4 instead of 5. I reduce it to 4 and I press enter. Wow, it's bigger now, but it's beyond the limit. So I'll need to bring it back. I'll bring it back to, let me use 5 here. And I can set, yeah, let's see what this is. Okay. It gives me what I want. Even if I like, I may set all the other digits here to zeros, and that will be 5 zeros. So it gives me this. I'm comfortable with that now, with this map size. So that is where you adjust the scale of the map in order to get what you really want. Now, the next thing to do is I want to add another element. So I will add, let's add the scale bar. Yes, let me add the scale bar here. So you click on this. It forms a plus sign again, wherever you want to put your scale. hold down the mouse, draw and drag to form a long rectangle that way. You see, our scale has been produced. This is the scale of the map now. This is the scale. But if you want to adjust this, you make sure it is selected as it is done now. And you come to item properties. So the properties of the scale are what you can see here. So what we'll do here, let me move this up a little, okay? So what we will do here is, if you look at this scale, it starts from 0, then 100, then 200. So 100 kilometers interval. I want to reduce that to 50 kilometer interval, and I want it to give me, to extend the scale towards the left-hand side of 0, maybe by 1 or so. So let's come here to do it. So make sure you select the scale, because you see, look at it here. When I click here, that's click anywhere on the map, I'm selecting the map entirely. If I want to amend the scale, I have to click on the scale to make sure it is selected so that I can see the properties here. So I'll come here, scale bar, units is kilometers. I'm happy with that, no problem. And the abbreviation, of course, is scale. Now, number formats, I'm okay with that. Now look at it, the segment, left, 0. That's why behind 0 there is nothing. So I want left. Let me make it 1. And then right, I want it to be up to 4 units. You can see as I'm adjusting those things, everything here is changing. So if you, but then, let's see, fixed width, 100 units. Let's make it 50. Okay, you can see now, my scale has reduced. You see, 50 meters. But I feel, oh no, this is not good enough. Let me leave the gap between them as 100. So I will return from this 50 and I will make it 100. So see what my scale is now. So to the left of 0, I have 100 there, and then 100, 200, 300. So this is the scale of the map in kilometers. So that's how you add scale and make adjustments in the property window here as you deem fit. So once that is done, we want to again go back to add item. Now let's add title. To add title, we'll add label. So that's what we'll pick, add label. Let's pick it here. And again, we draw the rectangle. And then we have, we have a sample text displayed here, but this is not the name we want. But then the issue is that you cannot change it here. You can't do any change here. But since this is selected and this is title or the label, you come to the properties window here. This is where you will change it. So as you can see, this is the text in that box. So you change it here. So I will just call it Nigeria, or instead states in Nigeria. States in Nigeria. So having done that, I can now, you see now, anything you type inside this box, it reflects here. If you look at it here, states in Nigeria. So let me highlight it again. So here you can come here and change the appearance of the font to any font type, that is of interest to you. You can even draw buffer around it if you want. You can do so many things about it. Now, I'll go back here. This back arrow button, I click on it to come back here. So again, you can justify the horizontal arrangement, alignment. So let me pick center here. See, it has moved it to the center. Also vertical alignment, make it center. See, it has made it so. So that's how you do it. And then you can scroll down a little more to see other things. So if you want a frame for it, you can highlight this. It will provide a frame. If not, deselect it. Frame is whether you want a box to be drawn like this. Let me just show you that. If I select frame here, look at what I will have. But this is not customary. I mean, we don't do this normally. So I will deselect the frame there. Okay. Now position and size. Here we can do some changes here if we so wish. So I mean there are quite a number of things we can do. So if I click that font again and I come to yes here, you can see the size is presently 10. I want this to be 16. 16. Okay. And then I want it to, instead of regular, I want it bold. See, I click on bold now. And then if I don't want color black, I can change the color here, but I leave it as black. So I'm done. So look at it now, states in Nigeria. So I'm still building the map in print layout. The next thing is, let's add legend. Now the issue with legend is if you are adding legend, all the items on your layer panel will show here. So let's see how it is. So you click on it again, you create a rectangle as I've done now. So look at it here under this. You see, each of the layers I have there are showing the roads, this. Now, I may want to rename this. I may also want to eliminate some of them. So look at it now. So I cannot do that change here because this is not where I created it. So to effect any change here, for example, if I want to change this now to states, I will need to go back to my other window to do that. How do I access that? If you come to your QGIS here, you see two windows displayed. This is the map where we are working. The other one is here. So if I click on that and I come here and I rename this admin one, I can right click and rename this rename here. And I call it states. If I want to remove any other thing that I don't want, I can remove all this. How do you remove something? If I want to remove Nigeria admin 0, for example, just right click on it and select remove layer. See, that layer is gone. If you do the same thing for admin 2, remove layer, it will also go, like that. And you can add them later at any time you want to make use of them. So for this purpose, let me come here and remove this. So I remove that layer too, and I'll say okay. So I have just two layers showing there. But then roads are not indicated on my map. If I want roads, I will show it this way. But look at it. If I go to the print layout, roads are not showing there. Why? Because I have not added the new map that has the roads. That's why it's not showing here. So let's go back to our map because road is not part of what is here. We want to also remove it. So we'll come back here and we'll right click on roads and say remove layer. Okay, I've removed it. So it's gone. So I have just the states now. So with that done, I can go back to my print layout. You see, just by clicking this icon here, I can switch from here to there and so on. So I have everything done here now. So the legend is here, this title is here, the scale is here. I need to now include the north arrow line as well as the coordinates. So to do that, I will go and add item. I will not select this, add north arrow line, no. What I will select is rather add picture, add, of course, I can select this, add north arrow line, yeah, I can pick it right away. And I will just again draw the rectangle. You see, it is here now. My north arrow line is here. That's the most straightforward way to do it. If you select that, if you look at the property window here, you will see that you have some images. Look at it. So if you like, you can pick on any of them. You see, anyone you pick, it will show. So anyone you just pick will show as seen here. So you can see now, that's my north arrow line. So these elements are very important in any map. Now, the final thing I need to put are the coordinates, because as you are looking at the map here now, unless we put coordinates, it will be difficult to really know where these things are. So how do we do that? That will affect the whole map. So I'm not going to say add item. No, I'll come here. The item is already added, which is the map. So I'll come to the properties here, this properties window, and I will scroll all the way down. And you can see grids here under the properties here, grids. So I will click on that to open it up. Having opened it up, I need to add the grids. So I will click on the plus sign to add a new grid. I've done that. That's grid 1. So I need to now click on modify grid so that I can work on the grids as I want. So I click on modify grids. So it brings this out. Now you don't see any grid lines on this map as it is now, because the X and Y coordinates, the X and Y line are 0 and 0 by default. So, and this talks of the interval between the grids you want to draw. So let's make the grids 1 here. Let's make it 1. You can see already x-axis, the x values already drawn at 1, 1 interval. If I make this also 1, that's for the y-axis, you can see now. But then looking at it, I say, oh no, these coordinates these grid lines are too close to each other. They are too close. So I can decide to increase the spacing between them by making them 2, the interval between them, instead of 1. So I make it 2. Okay. Yes, this is better now. This is better. But then there is something here that you can notice. You will see that our grid lines are too conspicuous and they are overshadowing the map. So we need to make them less conspicuous. We need to make them less conspicuous. And the way to do that is, while we are still here, let me scroll back, sorry. While we are still here on grids, this is the grids. I click it open. I select modify grids, modify grid. Oh, grid 1, sorry, I need to highlight it here as grid 1, then I'll modify it. Okay, so I'm okay with the distance between them. The next thing I want to do is I want to put a frame. The default is no frame. That means By the time my map finishes, you see now, look at how the map will look like. Whereas I would need, I like to have a frame around it instead of just leaving it like this. So again, I'll go back to it, just look for grids, click on grids, select the one you are working on, grid 1, click modify. Okay, so under frame here, I will select, click on the down arrow button, select zebra, and look at the shape of that frame. Now, the next thing we want to select is, okay, the blend mode for these grid lines. They are too conspicuous. So instead of normal there, let's see if I make it lighten. Oh, wow. You can see that it disappears. So I'll go back to making it normal. But then I will now click on this down arrow button here. As you can see, or you click on the line itself, line style, click on the line. So when you click on the line, look at opacity here. It's 100%. That's why the lines are so conspicuous. Let's click on this tool here and begin to drag it to the left to reduce the opacity. And check what's happening on your map to the grid lines. You can see that the grid lines are fading away as you go left. As you go right, they are increasing. So just slide there, maybe to any level you feel comfortable with. As the person drawing the map. And apart from this, sliding it, you can just come here directly if you have a particular opacity in mind. For example, I want to type 20%. So this 20% opacity now, see what it gives me. So my grid lines are not distracting from my map. So now that's what I want to achieve with that. And then the next to do, of course, to go back from here, from where we are here, you will need to click on this go back button. Okay, so we are back here. Now let's scroll down. A few more things to do, and this is the final stage here. Draw coordinates. Down, all the way down. You see draw coordinates there. It is unchecked. That's why you don't have any coordinates written on the sides here. So we'll check it to make sure it is checked. The moment we check it, you see it has automatically put coordinates all around our map. All around our map. So we can now modify this. For example, yes, I'm happy that they are in decimal degrees, but I don't want them to be in 3 decimal places. How do I change that? Come to properties again here. Look at coordinate precision. 3. So instead of 3, I will change that to 1. Just make it 1 decimal place. And as you can see, it immediately affected it on the map. Immediately. Now, the next is what format? Decimal. I'll click that arrow button. I like it to be decimal with suffix. This is ordinary decimal, just showing the values of the coordinates, longitude and latitude. But see what happens if you choose decimal with suffix. You see, it has added whether it is north or east to your coordinates. And once you have done this, you are good to go. So your map is now ready. Your map is now complete. It has all the elements. It has a map itself. It has a title. It has a scale. It has a legend. It has north arrow line, and it has the coordinates. So this makes your map now complete. So this is the final stage. So at this stage, what you will then do next is to come to layout here, and you need to export your map. So you can export it either as a PDF file. So in other words, it will be saved in wherever you want to save it on your system as a PDF format. PDF format. And if you want it as an image in JPEG format, you select export as image, JPEG. So let's select export as any of them is okay. I mean, they'll give you exactly the same thing. So we want to save as PDF now. And in saving as PDF, I take this to where my folder is. So this is the folder I have here. So it's Nigeria 1, that's the file name. I'm happy with that. So I will say, okay. So it requires some action from me. Yeah, but I'm okay. I'll just say save it. So the PDF version of this will be saved in that place. And it brings a message there, export layout, successfully exported layout to this where I can locate the file. Okay, so let's do layout again. Export as image now as JPEG. Yes, I'm happy with that folder. The name is okay. So here now is asking me export resolution. Normally I would prefer 600 dots per inch. Okay. So I'll then say, okay, save. So again, that has been saved. You can see the message there, successfully exported to that JPEG. So let's go to our folder now and look for our map. So I come here, you can see the JPEG file and the PDF file. So let me open the PDF file first by double clicking on it. So let's see what we have. Look at it. Very beautiful map with everything we need there. So having got to this stage now, you can now print out this map or even copy it and paste it in MS Word as part of your document. So that is how we use QGIS to produce map from the print layout. And then this where our QGIS environment is, and the print composer is here, as you can see. This is where we finished, or we finalized the map. So this is where I will draw the curtain on this video. I will still be bringing out some other videos that will look at specific things to do. For example, look at the label here as Federal Capital Territory. As me, I want to change that label to FCT so it can be within this box. How do I do that? So we'll learn that in another video. Thank you for watching. Join me in the next video. Bye.